Thank you, Siri. Good morning, Zoomers. Where should I look? Over there, right? If somebody points there, we look there. So there's kind of knowledge. When somebody says moon is there, you look at the finger. So like introduction, nature of mind. When the Guru appoints you, us, and then we look opposite way. But with Bodhicitta, and so this morning, continuation of the teaching of money, Amani Pime mantra, haven't even started yet. We talked about Khenpo a lot yesterday, and I think there are a few things to focus in Dhamma practice, especially teaching like this. I once again don't consider have the absolutely not even talk about realization, but understanding about his very profound song. It's just a transmission of blessing. So if we look at the song itself, it's basically talk about Om Mani Padme Hum. Just she, Om Mani Padme Hum she, because Om Mani Padme Hum is the second syllable mantra, and of Chinese. Then she is the seed syllable mantra of Chinese. When you visualize Chinese, especially you visualize the she syllable in the center of his heart and surrounded by Om Mani Padme Hum. And so in this song, basically talk about the 5 wisdom, the 5 kleshas. There's been talk about 6 wisdom. So these are very, very special teachings. And yesterday we did sing this song, and I will give you 2 choices. Sounds like very serious. I only give you 2 choices. One's the melody that I used yesterday. The other one is very typical and something used at Kaju Melam. It could be a little easier. So the song goes like this. Verses. The one we sang yesterday, it's a very well-known, singing melody in Tibet. So that was a little bit complicated, I think. So those 2. But now I have to go teaching. So I feel like I'm dark in the teaching trying to use different excuses, melody, but I still have to teach. Once his students come about, I think it was 2000, maybe 16, or I think 17 or something. I was in India, and his students come up and gave a teaching on geo practice. So there was geo practice, geo transformation, everything like for few days. It was requested by what's her name? the quite famous Drupakaju Western nun, and Sutam, yeah, Sutam Alioni, yeah, who did 12 years retreat. And she was there, and then another nun, and oh my God, the another can be long hair with Western like Palmo or something. One Sutam Alioni. Tenzin Palmo is the nun, and then the other one, yeah, Satyam, yeah. So those are very well-known Western nun and yogi. So two of them were there with all the other nuns, and so then he always began to teach. Sometime, and he was coughing a lot, He was coughing. And so I was there, and I just, offer him a cough drop, Whoop. And he made a joke. He said that, in Tibet, though sometimes when teachers doesn't have much to talk about, they pretend there's something wrong with their voice and coughing. And so I just trying to use all those excuses to duck the teaching. And then I offered that cough drop, and he said, "Oh, this is come from America. This is special." But anyways, so first I will a little bit talk about the 6-syllable mantra, represent, and I do want to say a little bit about Cheneze, the Avalokiteshvara, because it's so related, and you received the teaching of Cheneze yesterday. The empowerment and. Amon Peme Hong is a very, very common mantra, and people always say it is something I think have to have a habit. Like if you something like or kind of trip or something, oh my God, or something. It's just I think it's kind of become a common thing in the West. Like it's oh my God, something, because the God is central of everything, right? Cushions. And so in Tibet, like whenever that happens, like we have this natural tendency to say, pray to Tara or like Ongurumbuche or like Kamapacheno or something. And so if you hear somebody sick or die or something in Tibet, it's very common to say, Oman, bring me home, right away. So this is very typical. And because as we talked about yesterday, that the deity, the Cheneze become the Yidam deity of Tibetan, the land, snow land of Tibet, and then 6-syllable mantra is also a special transmission there. And so the original story of how Cheneze became the deity of Tibet, is. A long time ago, when Buddha was meditating, under the garden known as, radiant garden, or like a park, and he smiled, during his meditation while all the monks gathering, and so that light of the smile filled the entire Tibetan country, and then one of Buddha's, the 8 bodhisattvas do you have the Sanskrit to English, like Drupa Namsil? They are among the 18 bodhisattvas. Dusil. Yeah, you see, I think I can find it right away, no problem. No problem. Drupa Namsil, one with 18 bodhisattvas, and his name in Tibetan is Drupa Namsil Dusil Bodhisattva. Who knows how to pronounce this? Bodhisattva Savanivarna. I mean, this is the longest Sanskrit word I ever seen. Oh my God. No. Viskambin, the pure fire of all hindrances. So, was there in front of Buddha, or does it say in front? He was there. And requested Buddha, why are you smiling? That was because sometimes, for us it's very random act, right? We sometimes smile and sometimes get angry and frustrated, there's not so much why, but Buddha, every action or every gesture has special meaning. So he was special, smiling while he meditating. Kind of reminded me like when Khenpo Rinpoche, Khenpo Kanda Rinpoche, my teacher, when he escaped from Tibet, 1958, 1998, I was already here. And his brother was, he has two elder brothers. One is done like retreat 3 times, like 11 years is Vajra master of Tangu monastery. And then the other one is like, he was in lifelong retreat, towards the end of, close to the revolution. And you know what he was doing? He wasn't talk about Mahamadra, Dzogchen Osach, he was only reciting Om Mani Padme Hum. Mani recitation, And there's a red cabinet, they painted as red because historically it says used by one of Shaman Rinpoche's incarnation meditated there. So anyways, when Khenpo Rinpoche about to escape and he went to see his brother, and it's everything is a very chaos and we should escape. And his brother said, no, I have my own commitment about my retreat and don't worry about me, and you make sure bring all the Rinpoches alive or just, to India. Chabje Trang Rinpoche, the previous Trang Rinpoche was how old he would be, like 30s or something? I don't want to say exact because I'm not so good with mathematics. And then Talya Rinpoche was only 3 years old, fresh. And then Sri Rinpoche was very old. So those 3 Rinpoches are very important. You go with them and help them to make sure be safe. But I'm not going anyway. So when Khenpo Rinpoche, and Lama Sona, my uncle, he passed away, 2 years ago, and he was in lifelong retreat in Namo Buddha. And they too, and some other monks, then they, brought these 3 Rinpoches, and their first journey was to Central Tibet. And so on the way to Central Tibet, they encounter Chinese army, Red Army. Because Khenpo Rinpoche said that before they encountered the Red Army, and they were always asking this 3-year-old Talya Rinpoche, who says, who almost says, okay, go this way, that way. Sometimes if they have, going wrong direction, he says, no, you are wrong, only 3 years old. And at that night, Thaler Rinpoche was crying a lot and saying that, "Oh, if we stay here, we will eat by wolves or something." But, they somewhat, maybe it meant to be, didn't think too much. And then when the darkness happens, and then, the Red Army catch them. Catch them is like, chasing them. And so Rinpoche said they prepared, because they were riding horses and mules, and a lot of staff. And so Khenpo Rinpoche and everybody just get ready, and Thangpa Rinpoche was riding, put on a horse, and the Sri Rinpoche, Thaler Rinpoche, everything. And then because the army is coming so close, and then he cut the because there's no way, like the what you call, cut the ropes of the horse, let it go. So they all run, and so then the shooting begins, and Khenpo said he wants to take them different directions, so that if they shoot towards the Rinpoche is running, and then they may get killed. So he prefer himself to go into. So he just ran different directions on the foot, and so then he said that because the shooting comes from behind, and he visualized the 16 come up as a blanket. Because normally you visualize Guru above your head, but because the shooting comes from behind, so he wants have protection. And then he reached to Central Tibet, and then so they have audience with 16 come up because at that time it was like more, or how do you say, sensitive in Kham area, not in Central Tibet yet. They haven't reached there yet. And then everybody gathered, and then this is what I just kind of remind me, like Buddha smiled. 16 come up smiled. Rinpoche was sitting this side. He just looked at Rinpoche and said, "Generally, you're supposed to visualize Guru above your head, but some people visualize behind like blanket." And Rinpoche tears come from his eyes, like come up and save him, because he knew. Yeah, these are very interesting stories, because that's what we call clairvoyance. Like this is kind of related with the topic as well. Once again, when you meditate and have nature of mind, recognition, you are able to see these things. Those are not important, but able to see the capacity of students to able to adapt teaching accordingly. So Buddha smiled, and then now I forgot the name of the Bodhisattva. To pronounce it. That's very interesting name. I want to pronounce, something very much career or something. So it's Viscambin. I don't know. That's Sanskrit, right? You can pronounce well. Requested Buddha, why you are smiling today, Buddha? What's the condition and the cause? And the Buddha says, well, there's a country known as a barbarian country, that barbarian borderland country known as the Snowland. And so I saw that through the aspiration and compassion of noble Cheneze, and a place where sentient beings not tamed by the Buddhas in the past and present and future will be tamed by this Bodhisattva, and the Dhamma teaching will increase or flourish like that of sunrise. So that's why he was so happy. And then Buddha continued, said that the reason why Chinese can tame and not other Buddhas is because long time ago Chinese made this aspiration or commitment, said that may I able to tame and liberate sentient beings that is not hard to tame. That was his aspiration. And then there was from the Buddha's heart, white lotus arise with lights and went to Devachin, Amitabha's purum, and then dissolved into Amitabha's heart, and then from Amitabha's heart, the the light comes back again, and went into the Lotus Lake, the ambrosia of Lotus Lake, and the center of that Lotus Lake arise huge, pronunciation-wise, huge. Very well-known vocabulary, right? huge, huge, white slots, and that is like cannot subdued by like hundred thousands of the light of the suns and moons, and then lotus blossom, and in the center of that arise Genesis' body, who is like a white color, just like, smiling face, and one face, 4 arms, and just like we are visualizing. And then on the Amitabha put his hand on, Genesis' head, just like do like this, and said, the borderland Tibet sentient being or people can be tamed by you through your aspiration, and the place were not tamed by the Buddhas of the 3 times, and excellent, my child. And then continued, said that this country, you will be the primary deity, and through relying upon you, there will be a lot of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and Buddha's teaching will be flourish. Especially the special practice of the Tibetan people is the 6-syllable mantra, and through this mantra recitation and all the Buddha Shakyamuni's teachings and Dharma will flourish. Om Pime Home. And then Amitabha talk more detail about 6-syllable mantra. And then Amitabha himself, sit on top of Chinese, become the lord of the family. So that's a little bit of story about how Chinese came about, and the 6-syllable mantra. So now, regard with 6-syllable mantra, the 6-syllable mantra also kind of connected to 6 paramitas and 6 wisdoms and 6 negative emotions. So I will describe a little bit, and then we go through songs, so you kind of have a little idea about why each of them have described different negative emotions. So there are 6-syllable mantras, Om Mani Padme Hum. And so it has its own symbolic meaning. For example, like generally, the 6-syllable mantra is the embodiment of wisdom of all the Buddha's mind. Which is Cheneze, and through Cheneze's activity or compassion, this 6-syllable mantra arise. And first, the Om syllable mantra. So in song, it says, these days, sentient beings with negative karma are not taming the clashes in their minds, though they recite the syllable Om. Their minds fall under the power of pride. It makes you want to weep. The God suffering of the dying and falling, how miserable. But even if you don't recite Om, a mind without pride is essence of Om. So that is the first one. So generally, among 6-syllable mantra, Om is visualized as white color, and it is from the 5 wisdoms and arise from 5 wisdoms, and its quality syllable. And among the 6-syllable, 6 paramitas, Om represents the samadhi, samadhi, perfection of concentration. Samadhi in Tibetan, tingye zen. Tingye means absolutely silent, innocent. That's referring to our nature of mind, which is always silent. Always there's no any chit chats. And in nature, it's very quiet. It's like you go deep under the ocean, which I've never been. I don't know how to swim, but it's very, very deep and stable. And so another example, I think, about nature of mind versus the thoughts, and we try to have ownership about emotions. We feel like we own something. This is because we have known as ego or self-clinging. I and I. We always have this very special identity. We try to identify, I am so special, I did this, I and such. So concrete, and that's concrete. When I talk about concrete, it's just that confusion of I is so substantial for us. It's just so, well, use again, concrete. But the concrete that we built is based on fear, based on delusion. And so, as Shanti Rachita mentioned in the entering into the Madhyamika, that Nyamon Cheno Malun Jitola Tale Tsongwa Oyo Toji Danan Tozene, which means all the negative emotions, everything, the source of negative emotion is the I. All the thoughts come from I, because we fix it I as something singular, something ownership. This is I, which is never exist itself, because I is something fixated, a compound based on emptiness. There isn't any like a solid I. So that's called maripa. In Tibetan means ignorance. And so there's a little, it's more like, what do you call it? Well, what don't I call it? The front hand and the back of hand, right? So we are in the center, and so we flip, right now we flip our ego as the back of the the hand. It's ignorance, And then a little flip could be, because in Tibetan, the terminology is maripa means ignorance, and then ripa means awareness. So what you are aware, what you are realize is that ignorance that we fixate on. So one hand, when we are confused, is ignorance. But the moment we, through the blessing of Guru, so our own meditation, it's just to use same sources, but becomes ripa, aware. So ignorance is, the definition of ignorance is very doesn't have a really strong emotion. It's very grounded, but very naive and very dark and very dull. So when individuals, begin to practice meditation, you are aware that senseless and selfless meditation, and then it becomes ripa, means aware. So it's just a flip page, it's not so much to go somewhere else to realize. Excuse me. So that ignorance, kind of when you fix it more and more, becomes like ego, like I, and I did this and that. And also in the teachings talk about the kunja, means the source of everything. Kunja, where you kind of built all the habitual patterns, the source of all this consciousness, everything. Kunja, source of all consciousness. But then once you realize it, become Buddha nature. Kunji yishi, wisdom of all the sources. So all this, that's why, all these different negative emotions, pride and jealous, one side is a negative emotion, other side is wisdom. Other side, it's within it contains wisdom. So that's why, utilize those emotions rather than just to try to totally, abandon them. But of course, different methods, right? Like Shavaka meditation and Hinayana meditation really focus on trying to escape from those emotions, right? Any objects or emotions, it's just trying to escape. Why the monastery is built on this isolated place, monks, nuns, because they don't want to expose with the object, right? The, the object of attraction, such. So because it's a Vinaya tradition, and they can escape from those sources. And then, bodhisattvas doesn't define as monastics, male or females. Bodhisattva means that someone has compassion. That compassion is not contaminated by fixation and self-clinging, saying that this is because we have this self-built belief, excuse me, as we say culturally, my loved ones, right? And our loved ones and family, friends and children, etc. And it's no longer real pure love. That's why we struggle more with the loved ones than anybody else. Because this is once again love, but that love is contaminated with fixation. So once you love something, and then if you strong attraction, attachment naturally arise the other side, which is aversion. But then meditators slowly kind of bodhisattva level, like when you have those strong emotions or like anger or jealous or whatever emotions arise, they don't take it as a burden, rather they take it as an opportunity. And there's great master of Kadam tradition saying that may I go to hell realm, for the benefit of a sentient being. If there's a such thing I could benefit sentient beings, I'm happy to go to hell realm. If someone asks us, we say, hell no. We don't say, oh, I will go to hell no. Then because they feel like, they find opportunity to, just like swans or ducks, they're happy to go to, ocean, right? Swimming. And so that is the pride. And Vajra Vidya represents the among 6 parameters is samadhi, and among the 5 kleshas is the pride. And if we kind of carried by that pride, and then we go to six realms of samsara, especially the God's realm, based on pride. And among the five wisdom, this is the equanimity wisdom. What do you say, equanimity? Nyambanyechihi? Equanimity? Equanimity is noun or verb? Noun of equanimity wisdom. And then through that meditation, saying that pride as that represents samadhi and also the economic wisdom, because pride is very, very self-sided emotion. Is no longer equal, but once you begin to subdue that pride which never exists, become one taste through meditation. It's nyamba nyechi hi or economic wisdom. And among the five Buddhas, you will achieve among a Siddhi Buddha once you practice recitation of Om and through meditation. And then there are also five Buddhas, pure alms, and you go to the Rinchen is Rina Sambhava, right? Rina Sambhava. Rina Sambhava is pure. So in this Khenpo conscious song, talk about beside reciting Om, please don't let your mind controlled by the pride. So this pride has many aspects. It is mentioned by the great master, Nyima master Mipam Rinpoche. Say in Can You Enter Into the Scholar book says ngaja chiu ngaja to ngawa nyonto ngaja chonzu nyonto long ngaja nambaji. There are many aspects. Ngaja means simply think I. Then slowly you compare others. I'm better than somebody. You could be you are better than somebody. Then slowly you go. Your pride is bigger, and you compare with someone's equal. You still think you are better, and then you again compare someone else much better than you, but you still think you are better. And then your ego doesn't have limit, and then it goes up and it goes compared to your teachers, or they feel like you are better than them, because you can be very what's the word critical. This is, I think, very, very important in the West. I've been here for almost 30 years now, and I observe, and I think receiving teachings from teachers, relying on teachers, and that part is so sensitive and so crucial, because we can sometimes see that students who learn from a teacher and then slowly he or she really practice, and that guidance, and slowly he or she become better, information wise. And then sometimes you kind of forgot where you come from, origin of the kindness of that teacher. And then maybe you become, later teacher or something, right? Instructor or something, and you feel, So that part have to be very, very, careful, because whoever taught us, as even Sutra says that, if you receive even one verse from one teacher, he or she already become your teacher and consider your teacher. And personally, I have many teachers, and when I was little, I wasn't so little. When I was in Dharma school, and I have teachers, and I haven't seen them for so many years. But I always remember those. I try my best, especially, my youngest brother. I think some of you heard from me a lot, but it is true. I'm very proud of him. He's like, always in lifelong retreat. He doesn't use iPhone or WeChat, nothing. He just always meditate, and So he's known as Chensam, right? Chensam, the lifelong retreat. And at Tanga Monastery, there's a rule, little rules, regulations. Like if you have a big puja, very elaborate puja, these lifelong retreats, they have to come out because there are so many of them, right? Otherwise, they are so important being that puja. So he comes out a little bit, and then I take opportunity, send him to my other teachers, and buy statue, text and stupa, and make him body speech mind offering. The teacher that I originally connected. So that's very, very important. You can't treat your teacher as a boyfriend or girlfriend, right? And then let it become, maybe due to your karmic connection, something, you maybe see someone else, and then the other teacher become ex, right? It's like sometimes like, oh yeah, I love this new teacher, I'm so happy, and yeah, my previous teacher was pretty good, but then you try to think about negative side, and sometimes people say something, you think that's not important. We receive teaching from such teacher, and that is you. It's like as we normally say that you become like bees, right? So you collect honey from different flowers. They don't judge about flowers, they just only focus on the ambrosia. So we receive teaching from teachers, and then the teacher, if there's some negative, teacher appears as a sentient being, and like Gambopa mentioned that there are 4 different teachers. One is like the Buddha, and then the Sambhogakaya, and then the last the 4 lesser kind of ordinary individual who appears as like ourselves. And among them, Gambopa said, the ordinary person who talk your language, walk with you, talk with you, eat with you, and teach everything, that's the most the kindest, because he or she represents. Whether he have realization or she has realization, nothing to do. It's all about the lineage. So I think that part is really, really important, that, teacher selection, and once you connect, not only like lamas, sometimes we talk about teachers, we kind of visualize like myself wearing some robes, and not like that. Teacher basically means that you don't know anything about Buddhism, slowly you become Buddhist, and then you learn from that, like you have Sangha community here, and somebody give talk about, you open your eyes and you are able to learn a lot. Those are also teachers. Those are teacher connection. And so the pride, and then spiritual pride is like sometimes you go to retreat, and then you feel like you don't have much negative emotions, and then you talk about that. That actually you feel it's not totally right, but you feel like maybe when you go back to the village or somewhere, like object of anger or attraction happens, then your realization wasn't realization, it was just an experience. So it was a little bit of pride. And then wrong pride, which means that sometimes people talk about how brave they are. Sometimes like it's actually happens in Muslim, maybe not in so much in the West, like in the Asians, like I beat up few people or something. I'm very strong. Like they think they are very, very tough or such. Those are wrong pride. Of course, then the most kind of disturbing or like source for all the negative emotions is the pride of I. So now, next is, so Khenpo Kongshap basically talk about, because there's that resort, if you take rebirth in, thank you, in God's realm, and there can be, some happy moments, but then there's a lot of suffering of falling down to, samsara. So our destination is free from samsara forever. So even though if you don't recite Om verbally, and if you are able to reduce pride, that is the essence of syllable Om. I think pride only can be reduced if we experience a lot of suffering, because when you have a lot of suffering and your arrogance, pride, begin to reduce. Even Shandindeva mentioned that one of the quality about suffering is that reduce negative pride and also have more compassion towards others. Because when you experience suffering, you are able to see other people suffering. And then next is Ma on page una, dos, doors. Though they recite the syllable Ma, their minds fall under the power of envy. It makes you want to weep. The jealous gods suffering of fighting and quarreling, how miserable. But even if you don't recite Ma, a mind without even its envy is the essence of Ma. So syllable Ma. So then we normally recite Om Mani Padme or syllable Ma. This is a green color, color-wise, syllable Ma. And syllable Ma represents among 6 parameters is patience. Patience. We always use that word. Be patient, And patience, nature of patience means totally silent. Sometimes be patient means that you are angry but you don't say it. That's not patience. Because sometimes emotions are like what's the word? Contagious. Other person can feel it. So patience means nizila chimanyam means no comments, no emotions. Like Shandindeva said, be like a tree. The wind is blowing, the trees can remain, most of them, depending on the wind. So means be silent, and mentally silent. Patience, zopa. But the spiritual also part of the zopa, patience means that you are very patient, tolerance with difficulties you go through when you practice, whether it's a prostration, whether it's a recitation. And we are not so patient. We are a little bit sensitive, right? Because the moment you wake up in the morning, you begin to kind of listen to your body, how I feel, And then when you listen to your body, listen to your mind, it's a not good one to listen. Especially beginning of the day, like you have so much worry things, and then slowly slips, and then they're not able to practice. So patience means that really, if somebody want to talk to you, and you be there, listen to that person, and the person may talk totally nonsense, just all kind of stuff that you don't want to hear. But if you have patience without emotion, you be there listening, and the person is, all the emotions come out, and then you really accomplished very special. And among the 5 kleshas, it will reduce the envy, and this cause of envy and results, and also purifying the suffering of coral or like the demigods suffering. And among the five wisdoms, this will be the Jadu Ishi, Jawatupi Ishi. All accomplishing wisdom. So Jawatupi Ishi among the wisdom. And then you will, as a result, achieve the among a siddhi, body, through the practice. And so once again, here's what Khenpo mentioned, that, basically, even you don't recite it, simply absence of jealous. So jealous is a very unbalanced emotion, and this emotion, based on friends, mostly, because if a neutral person, you don't have any connection, you don't have too much jealous. Jealous comes within the sisters, brothers, within the inner cycle. And so through that, you accumulate negative karma and take rebirth in demigod's realm. And so the antidote of it is, according to other teachings, is rejoice or compassion, because sentient beings wishing to be happy and wishing to achieve, what they wish, so that's what they wish. And when we practice Buddhism, especially Mahayana Buddhism, we say, may all beings free from suffering, cause of suffering, may all be happy and cause of happy. So finally, they have this little glimpse of happiness, whether it's get a new job or on new friends. How can we be jealous, right? So we have been, very happy and rejoice. So next is ni, yellow ni, and this ni is the wisdom, Vajra wisdom is the embodiment of Buddha's body, speech, mind activity. And among 6 parameters, it is the Shila paramita, or moral discipline. Shila paramita, moral discipline. And this yellow ni purifies the emotion of ignorance and cause of ignorance, the result of ignorance. As a result, it will overcome the suffering of birth, age, sickness, and death of human beings. So I understand normally, ignorance is related with the animals, but this particular, from the 15th Kamapa, Kachadoji's commentary, does refer to human beings. And so, saying that where are we? Omani, right? Okay. Yeah, among the 5 wisdom, this is the Dhammadat wisdom. Sorry, I think I made a mistake. Among the 5 wisdoms, there is self-arising wisdom. It says self-arising wisdom. And among the 5 Buddhas, it will help to achieve the 6th Buddha, Vajradhara. So then, in the song, though they recite the syllable ni, their minds fall under the power of desire. It makes you want to weep. The suffering of human dissatisfaction are miserable. Because normally, the human realm is attachment, but this case, according to this 15th Karmapa's commentaries, ignores how miserable. But even if you don't reset ni, a mind without desire is the essence of ni. So next will be syllable P, Amani P. And it's a blue color P. So P represents among 6 paramitas is Prajna paramita, and it will reduce the cause of negative emotion, which is dullness, and as a result, purify the suffering of animal realm. And among the 5 wisdom, so this P is the Dhammadhat wisdom. And among the 5 Buddhas, through the practice of P, achieve Buddha Virocana. And with the song, as I mentioned, I can't comment too much because it's so deep, so profound, and then I can't use my, confused mind, but I have to use this combine a little bit, right? So, though they recite the syllable "pik," their minds fall under the power of ignorance. It makes you want to weep. The suffering of animals, stupidity, how miserable. But even if you don't recite P, a mind without ignorance is the essence of P. And so now about the animal realm, animal realm is constantly, most animals constantly live with fear, always, it look, sometimes when you drive it, and we saw those deers, look so beautiful, but they have a lot of fears, constantly, predators, and always remain in fear. And, they don't really have because their mind, according to the teachings, the mind is very, very vague. They don't have goals, now what are you going to do next year or something, right? It's just one day by day, And I do understand that, people have pets and they seem very happy. But on the other hand, I think they also have a lot of suffering. Look at dogs, right? And how happy they can be when you arrive, how miserable they can be when you leave. Even when you go to work, they miss you so much, But most importantly, none of these descriptions looking down on any sentient beings, but it's just Buddha's teaching is basically talk the truth, whether we like or not, which means that animals, it's a lower realms, as we call lower realms, because if you try to teach them how to practice meditation or shamatha or compassion or recite mantras, and there's no way to do that. I mean, parrots, they may follow you, right? Oh, money, pay me home or something, Why are they doing that? They can also kill the bugs, they don't. Oh, money, pay me home. Unless those animals tamed by special beings, historically 16 Karmapa have he has all this collection of birds. And, when he saved these birds from the bird place, wherever, and then he always keep few days, he has a little cage next to his bed, like a pillow or something, and then he put there. And after a few days, then he says, okay, now they can go their own because their meditation is good. And so he does that, and when they die and they meditate a few days, their body is warm or such. Of course, there was an interesting story about, I think it was, I can be wrong, so don't take it seriously. One of the Karmapa is 12th Karmapa, I think 13 or 12. And there was a story about, sometimes these animal meditators, they were kind of a little argumentative. There was a rabbit, the bird was, coming to the Karmapa said that, it's noisy, he's making a lot of noise, distract my meditation. And also like, maybe those of you observe that when we play a gong in the monasteries and they don't play right away, they have a little ting, 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 so, like soft, and then you play the, harder one. Because the birds were complaining, saying that when they meditate, it's kind of all of a sudden, boom, scares them. So that's how they change. First you have ting, soft, and so they're kind of aware that the gong is coming. A lot of cool stuff. But it is really true that animals, they can be also benefit through, spiritual guide as well. Yesterday, I think I shared a story, but not here. Few months ago, I was at KTD Monastery in the dining room. We were about to eat lunch, and so I put my phone on on the table, and then I saw very, very distracted a lady, coming to the dining room. I can see from distance she's coming like, so stressed. So I kind of a guy like always like, say, what, do you need any help or something? I went out and she said, well, my dog. She said it's a Tibetan dog. I don't have the name. Tibetan type of dog. Said that I'm going to put her in sleep, at 2 o'clock, euthanize. So, but I'm very, very sad. And can you do a prayer? I said, oh, I'm happy to do that. So I went over there, and the dog is over there, and I also went to different, Khenpo's lamas, collect some blessing pills, and I said, is it okay to give some blessing pills, as we call, liberate through taste, reduce the suffering. She said, that's all, that's fine. So I give the blessing, thanks, and the dog's very attached to her, and I said, do you think maybe the dog wants to die naturally, and maybe can bury at your backyard? Do you have a backyard? And he said, yes, I have a backyard. Maybe your dog really not ready yet, because the dog's very attached to it. He said, well, I feel really bad to do that. But I said, well, maybe you take back, because dogs die anyways, maybe wait a few days. And I promise I will come and do prayer at your place. And then she was very nice, and she canceled the what do you call? Vet euthanasia. And then she took the dog back, and she said that I don't believe what happened to her, because he didn't, now I forgot, he or she, okay, that's my fault. And didn't bark for 3 days. Was so peaceful and so happy not to bark. And then after 3 days, dog started to bark. I think dog has some dementia or something. Besides, and so I went there and did prayer as I promised. And then later, dog passed away, and she buried her backyard, and she was very thankful. So my point is not about what I did. It's all about you can also benefit, sentient beings, including dogs. And dogs, I know, that, maybe my teaching is a little opposite. One hand says dogs a little bit, like dullness, and then on the other hand, like benefit. Well, this is based on your compassion. If you sincerely, pray for them, they get benefit. So that's why in Tibet, Oman Pime Hon is very common. If you drive or something, well, we don't drive. We ride horses and mostly walk. If you see some birds died or something, instantly you recite Oman Pime, Oman Pime, Oman Pime, then you do, blow air. And so next, where are we now? We are reached to May, Aman P May, right? P is gone. All right, on page 3, Khenpo Conscious song says, though they recite the syllable May, their minds fall under the power of stinginess. It makes you want to weep. But even if you don't recite May, a mind without stinginess is the essence of May. Stinginess or greedy is very common to us. And the proof is that we have so much, at our house. And based on what we have collected, we could live another 500 years, only using the resources that you have. How many shoes you have, how many jackets you have, So it's so real. I also learned myself because when I moved to my house, I have so many stuff, and it's almost like you don't want to get rid of them. It's just like, oh, maybe one day it'll be useful. One day useful. It's just the mental fixation is so real, the stinginess, so what that means. When you have this kind of experience, is that we are forever poor. That stinginess. So, but we have to learn about generosity. Generosity means letting it go. So I'm reduced to a lot of stuff, not my favorites yet. A lot of things that previously I can't let it go. So you analyze your mind, and then you give it, but giving is very good. So you be a generous, but especially be generous with your practice. Be generous, your body be generous with your practice, because we have these 3-4 meals and drinks and all clothes, so cherish our body. What does our body do? Maybe a lot of times, maybe do a lot of negative things based on negative emotions. So we're supposed to utilize this body to do something good. I recently sent something in Hindu group, something wise. Oh, by the blessing of the triple gem, without being taken away by the impermanence of death, today, again, I have been blessed with the fortune of being able to raise my head. Today also, as a reminder to engage body, speech, mind as much as possible to virtuous deeds. So that is the concept, we should learn. And believe me, I try my best, in the morning, I don't get up right away. Morning, I just try to shape my motivation. It fails, right? A lot of times, but it's so useful. You think about that, and when you eat meal and so you okay, I hope, I use this meal to feed my body, use something for Dharma. So we are very cherish our body, very sensitive, and then sometimes we just so attached to our body, and everything we can do this and that, and so So it's opposite. How otherwise it may not be precious human birth. We have this body, but not a precious anymore. It becomes source of suffering. I tell you one thing: that body can tolerate if you train it. Bodies can be trained. I always challenge. One thing that maybe I'm good about that, I challenge myself. Okay, if this snow and ice very cold, I go outside. I like to be cold, but sometimes I challenge my body, see how my body reacts. It's the mind who drives your body. So if you become sensitive, then it's just everything bothers, and that's one of the reasons that when you do preliminary practice, people doing prostrations, and they are going through a lot of difficulties. Prostration, which is actually pretty easy. Prostration is not that hard when you really utilize your body. I did that. I still do the prostration. It's not. It's just something your mind have to drive your body. So now, I'm on the PMA. We have 5 minutes, right? So the red syllable me is the speech. It says among 6 parameters, it's the generosity, and among the 6 negative emotions, it will overcome the attachment and greedy, and also the cause of attachment, etc., and able to overcome the suffering of hungry ghost, which is the thirst and starvation, such. And among the 5 wisdom, may represents discriminative wisdom, Sotro Yeshi. And among the 5 Buddhas, it's Amitabha Buddha. That was quick. Did I say about the 6 parameters? Well, I said, yeah, I did say generosity, right? Jimba. Let it go, Jimba. Okay, lastly, on Song, page 4, though they recite the syllable home, their minds fall under the power of anger. It makes you want to weep. The hell-bane suffering of heat and cold, how miserable. But even if you don't recite home, a mind without anger is the essence of home. We almost fall in love with the anger. It's become so handy to everybody. It's just, there's no cushion in mind. Like, so ready to get angry. We kind of respectfully say, I'm frustrated, but that's anger. You're burning, all this. I think one of the reasons is that when the individual believes in karma, negative karma, and I think anger is just one of the most serious karma that you can create through anger. As Shandideva mentioned that, if you don't have bodhicitta combined virtuous actions or merit actions, one instant anger conquer a lot of good things, And it's almost like years of earning wiped by one mistake, right? Years of earning, you think about your retirement plan, and then there's a thief, got in and just steal everything. There's no safety. So anger is very, very damaging. More than ever. Nowadays, it's kind of the world. Unfortunately, of course, there are so many good things happening that we don't really see on in the television. But mostly, a lot of anger, projection, the fires burning, the wars. So what's the word? Wars raging, raging, yeah, or fires raging or wars raging. So when this happens, like I think I'm also very angry person, emotionally. Not so much to share, but what really benefited me is what my teacher Khenpo said that be prepared. Preparation is so important, which means that the moment if the anger arises instantly, sometimes very fast, it's very hard to overcome on the spot. So preparation means that when you get up in the morning, I will get angry, I will get frustrated, but I try my best to not to. So you have a little preparation, have a little cushion. So then that means like you already actually reduced, you already destroyed the basis of, because we are seem like very sensitive in the morning, like you just have this many things built, worrying something that I always share this. Sometimes I wake up in the morning and I worry something, but I can't recognize, I can't pinpoint why I'm worrying about. So that worrying feeling brings fear. You become very sensitive. That's why I said there's no cushion for emotions, especially anger. So something little triggers, and we are ready to, get angry. So it's kind of constantly burning. Anger is more like burning your energy, burning your relationship, burning your everything. So that's why preparation, like in the morning, I don't want to feel anger, and I don't. And it has many reasons. It burns relationship, it burns marriage. And also like when you walk with anger, and you basically project an anger to the world. So I don't want to be that. And so in the morning, I will do my best to overcome it. And when anger arises, I will try to think about something compassionate things, or sometimes reset Om Mani Padme Hum, the mantra of compassion, or sometimes immediately visualize your guru above your head, or sometimes you breathe. You do all those things. You think about that preparation, and then when you do that, it takes a little while to get angry. If somebody said something, of course, at the beginning you may not able to catch it. You may get angry, but then there is, because you already stored a signal in your brain, you may catch it. Maybe right after the angry, oh, I did the preparation. Next time you get better and then get better, and then better and better. That's all about habitual patterns. Once you habitually follow your emotions, and then there's no such thing one day, oh, I will have a lot of time to meditation, and when that happens, I'll be so good. No, we get older and older, more sensitive. So that's why preparation is very important. So anger is the worst emotion among all. So anger is actually nature of prajna paramita. It says among 6 paramitas. And it will overcome, the syllable hong. Syllable hong, I'm not talking about anger, of course. Syllable hong is the nature of prajna paramita, and it will overcome the cause of anger and the result of anger. And as a result, overcome the suffering of hell realms. Among the wisdom is the mirror-like wisdom. And among the 5 Buddhas, this is Akshobhya Buddha. All right, so maybe we stop here at Akshobhya Buddha after overcome anger, and dedicate the merit of this morning session for the benefit of all sentient beings to achieve enlightenment. Oh, sonam de tamje zebanye tane niba dana panze ne jega nanje balav toba seba zolen doganya dosho. You may be here a little different at the end. It's this something His Holiness come up and recommended to recite Seba zolen doganya dosho. Then Seba zolen the previous ones. All right. What time you come back?
So 1 o'clock meditation.
Okay. 1:30. Thank you, Zoomers. Enjoy your meal.